God is in his heaven, and all is right with the world. Today is such a day. A cloudless June sky, the oxen reposed in the shade of the mighty British oak, the reek rising from a million barbecues, and England beginning its World Cup endeavour.
So that's fine. I work for the FAI. It's great. I'm going to enjoy it tonight.
And you should as well.
Thanks very much.
Well done.
Bye.
Well, Tony O'Donoghue with Noel King. Eamon, your reaction?
I think I said, and I say it again, I think he's been shown to be out of his depth. Noel King. Way, way out of his depth. There was nothing that Tony said there that denigrated the players. He was asking legitimate questions, and that response proves that he can't handle even the small bit of pressure after a win. Out of his depth in the job.
Is it not heat of the moment stuff? He's had a lot of time in the spotlight over the last few days to deal with pressure.
Give us a break. This guy fancies himself. You see the way he turned on Tony there? He's a bully. And he tried to bully RT on Friday night after the match by making the penalty issue out of his depth, in my opinion. I'd be interested to hear what the lads have to say.
Terry Venables was sacked by England last Thursday morning at 8:30. He was part of the worst performance by England in attempting to qualify for a generation. He was assistant to Steve McLaren, and he was responsible, many people believe, for the formation that cost England a vital game away to Croatia when they played 3-5-2 with Gary Neville playing as a wing-back. Terry Venables has been 30 years in football. He's won 2 trophies. Graham Souness, for example, has won 11 trophies. The last job he seriously had was at Leeds, and he was part of the decline of that club. Other factors kicked in as well. At Portsmouth, he left them when they were bottom of the championship. At Barcelona, in the end, they got to the European Cup final where they were beaten by Steaua Bucharest. But at the end, they were hammered home and away by Dundee United. His record as a manager is really very, very average indeed. But there's another factor. His character. And I'm going to tell you precisely, I think a manager has to have the character to lead people. He hasn't stayed in any of his last 7 jobs for more than 2 years. And on January the 14th, 1998, he was disqualified by the High Court in London for acting as a company director for 7 years under Section 8 of the Company Directors Disqualification Act of 1986 for mismanagement of 4 companies. And 2 of those companies were Tottenham Hotspur plc and Tottenham Hotspur Football and Athletic Club Limited. The case was brought against Venables by the Department of Trade and Industry in England, who cited instances of bribery, lying, deception, manipulation of accounts and taking money that should have been given to creditors. And there's a lot more on that rap sheet as well. And this man has just been sacked by England. He would not get a job from any English Premier League club, and has never even been mentioned by any, because the last thing at Leeds and the thing before that at Portsmouth were disasters. But anyone who's pushing Terry Venables has not got the best interests of Irish football in mind. At least they don't know enough about Terry Venables, and the Irish public deserve to know everything that needs to be known about this man. And I've been doing my homework for the last 10 days.
Yeah.
And they are the facts.
How do you...
Australia didn't have to qualify. They just had to play off 1 match to get to the World Cup against
Iran. Yeah.
Right? They blew a 2-0 lead and went out. So where is his record?
Well, hang on.
Where has he achieved anything? 20 years ago?
Well, it will be a long time.
25 years ago? Why are we going for him, John?
Eamon, I'm not going for him. I'm only trying to
I'm not going to shout you down.
Balanced view of his record. He did get promotion.
This man's CV is riddled with failure and worse than failure. But we'll stick just to the football points. 1996, England got to the semi-final of the European Championships, right? They drew with Switzerland. They struggled to beat Scotland, who missed a penalty in the match. In the end, they went out on penalties.
Beat Holland.
Beat Holland. The Holland team at that time, the black players and the white players.
You can't be selective.
Well, I have to.
No, I've done my homework. No, but you can't look back and say they were no good and they were no good.
No, they weren't. The black players and the white players were sitting at different tables
That's right.
The Holland camp was in disarray. No. Now, hold on. No, John, hold on. These are facts, because it will be. All the time he was with Steve McLaren, he was writing a column in the News of the World every Sunday for money. Now, there's a conflict of interest there, and some of the columns embarrassed McLaren.
Yeah,
didn't
I agree with that.
They did.
Yeah,
now, he's still doing it. Are you telling me that he was assistant manager of his own country, and he was still prepared to embarrass them, that he's going to come here to little Paddyland and not go and embarrass us?
Well, I think McLaren and certainly the FA slipped up. I think with Terry at the time and that, they should never have been allowed to do it.
But why did he do it, John? Why did he do it?
Well, maybe he was trying to protect his reputation in a bad.
No, I don't think he should have done it either, Bill. I think he should have resigned for that as well.
What other country in the world would we be talking about this man?
I don't know.
Can you think of another country in the... Come on, I'm not going to ask you to have a go at him. Can you think of another country in the world that would be considering appointing a man who was fired in London last Thursday?
Has been good.
Excuse me for interrupting you, John. I hate to do this. When he was appointed manager of Leeds United, right, he didn't turn up for the first match. Because he was doing a gig for the BBC's holiday programme. Sorry, John.
I'm not doubting that.
It's the fact.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying
but he's saying, you're saying when he concentrates on something, he's good at it.
Well, how do we know he's going to concentrate?
Well, we don't know, Eamon, but we don't know.
Why are we giving him the job then?
But hang on, he hasn't got the...
Sorry, okay. Sorry, John. Go on, sorry.
Well,
Gerrard, you keep hearing people say that Gerrard is one of the greatest players in the world. Another myth.
You're alive. We're alive, baby. Hi, Bianca.
Yes, obviously standing out to make sure everybody saw he was there. Well, what did you make of that?
I think it embodied what America's about.
But in fairness, he got a fantastic goal. He's entitled to the emotion.
They're terrific lads. I mean, they have belief. They have been very brave. I mean, I made a snide remark there, and you know,
It's not like you.
No, it's not actually. They have been really, and for what they are, they've been magnificent.
Well, I know, I was across there recently, and I know he's had marriage problems, Donovan. I think he was married.
Who's Bianca then?
Well, yeah, well, he's obviously a new girl and that. And what he's been through.
Not his wife, is that what you're saying?
Yes, what he's been through, I think, Bill, is that.
Tell us more.
Well,
come on.
Well, he's a big star over there. I mean, he had a spell at Everton where he never played so well. It didn't happen for him in Germany, and I think that was one of the reasons why. And he's gone back. He's obviously very, very fresh, and I think they've got a chance of beting Ghana.
Well, we'll see what happens.
So
do we say good night, Bianca? Yeah, we'll all send a message to Bianca.
See you, baby.
Emotional. Very emotional.
Very emotional. Well, that's all we've got time for this evening. Don't forget our match is still to come. My thanks to Liam, to Dennis and to Eamon. So Ghana and the United States will meet in the quarterfinals, as will Germany and England, and you can bet England will be having nightmares about penalties for the next 4 nights, and I hope it doesn't happen to Bianca. From all of us here. Good night and God bless.
3 days. He is immature, out of his depth, and a little bit unpleasant.
But he did receive some fairly harsh criticism himself.
What criticism?
Well, look,
you're going to have to answer this, Tara.
No, it's not to me.
You are going to have to answer this.
What was called tactically illiterate?
No, what was called that's right. That's a criticism of a coach. And his coaching methods. It's not a personal attack. Now, do you understand the difference between that?
Yes.
Good.
But
because the question, implicit in the question you asked me, was that he had been subjected to personal attacks.
No, I didn't say personal.
It was implicit.
It
was implicit. But you mean to say he shouldn't be questioned? His tactics shouldn't be questioned?
No, of course. But at the same time, he's entitled to his right to reply, isn't he?
But that wasn't a right to reply.
He wasn't replying.
That was insulting to Tony O'Donoghue, a person who was doing their job.
Yeah.
And the comments after the match on Friday were insulting on a number of grounds. Now, we decided before this program night we wouldn't talk about them.
No, but he's trying to do his job.
Personal.
And his job was for 2 games.
Is his job to attack people personally?
No, it's not. It's to manage the international team.
Did he attack people personally?
My opinion in that matter doesn't really count. Your opinion matters. Eamon, what have you ordered for dinner?
I've ordered stew, Dara.
Okay, fair enough.
It's good because you cook it slowly.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it's got carrots and lentils and a nice bit of stewing steak. Very nice.
Great.
And it's on to mature at 6:30 after the extra time. But I think it's going to be a long 45 minutes plus. There another half an hour after that, and then we'll have the drama
of penalty shootout. So
God, you're really selling this well.
the guys up in the Joy have asked to be put back in their cells, and they said let them out for the penalty shootout.
Oh, we just absolutely,
I mean, it's dramatic, and we shouldn't be belittling it by talking about my dinner, which incidentally has the starter of dandelion and chicken soup.
Wonderful.
I got it in the Irish Times.
Did you?
Yeah, it's a recipe I follow there every weekend. And it's really
dandelion soup.
Yeah, dandelions. You have to make sure you chop the dandelions up.
Yeah. Coarsely or finely?
No, coarsely's good.
Okay.
Not too finely.
Okay, right.
It takes you into the sort of the mood now in Tokyo.
Exactly.
And in Paraguay. The capital of Paraguay is?
I can't. No.
Ronnie?
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you after.
Capital of Paraguay?
You see, somebody upstairs should tell me in my ear what the capital of Paraguay is.
Okay. And they let it.
But they didn't have to, did they?
Well, Bill, we're in the business of judging performances. You know, if that was a concert, you'd boo. And that was a game of football at the highest level. Liverpool were terrible. Sissoko giving the ball away. Gerrard, right, found out tonight. Nothing player. One of the greatest strikers of all time. John actually gave up taking penalties at Leeds.
You got abused, didn't you?
Well, yeah, we see. His bottle went.
No, I didn't. No, actually, it's more.
Before we take a break, did you ever take any from Millwall or York City?
I tell you a funny story, and it's a true story. At the five-a-sides at Wembley, we got to the final indoors, one with Millwall, and the goals were about 20 yards wide. And this is how I know about Bottle. And I was to take the last penalty. You could not possibly miss, but I managed it. And it cost us about $1,000 each on the night. So I know all about not having Bottle. A club you want to go to. What Arsenal really need is they need a bailout bill. They need the Troika. They need the IMF, the ECB. And they do. They have no money. 50 million is nothing, Bill. It really is nothing.
You're fine, but you're fine.
Manager is, look, if he was another coach, I supported Trapattoni's appointment, and I am a friend of Liam Brady's, and so are you, and Tardelli, but I'm not working for the FAI, and I'm not working for Trapattoni. If that was Steve Staunton or Brian Kerr or Mick McCarthy, he'd be getting plenty of welly, and he deserves plenty of welly. He's way out of order. He owes those fans, he owes the players in the team to put the best team on the field. He's wrong about Andy Reid. He's wrong about young Gibson. He's not a player, Bill. And Whelan isn't much of a player, but the young fellow who made his debut tonight is in Manchester United's reserve team, and that's where he's going to stay.
He's the ninth choice at midfield.
Well, whatever he is, should not be playing for Ireland. So if a manager has his eccentricities, we're going to pay for them at the end of the day. This is a huge result for us in terms of going to South Africa. But we have to look at football as football people, and you have to call it as you see it. And that's wrong. And if it was Staunton or Jack Jarrett or someone else, I'd be giving them plenty of welly. I wouldn't be backing off. A lot of people close to the game, a lot of fans who love the game and know the game. And a lot of people, Ray Houghton this morning said he could not understand, he said it in the Irish Daily Star, he could not understand why James McCarthy wasn't in the side. And I couldn't, and you couldn't, John couldn't, nobody. Hold on a minute. That's not the only thing. There's a long list. He's got more form than the train robbers for mistreating players, for miscommunicating his messages.
That's a very dangerous comparison.
Hold on a minute.
It's a joke. We understand that. Yeah.
Wilson is a good example. McLean is another example. Seamus Coleman, 2 years, he was playing in Everton's first team before they got a break, and then he was thrown on in a Mickey Mouse match in the RDS in the middle of the summer. We have every right to question the way Trapattoni runs this team and to speculate that it might be far better if we had a more rational coach and someone who wasn't as fearful and someone, most importantly, who's got respect for the players. And he hasn't always shown that, Liam. For their nation tonight and for their pride, they've got two holding midfield players, and maybe the German coach has made a mistake. So I'm really rooting for Greece tonight, and I think a lot of people in the world will be rooting for Greece.
You're talking politically, aren't you?
I'm talking as a human being, culturally. No, nothing personal, Didi. Didi's good. I'm taking that for a jar later on.
So he doesn't qualify as a human being, is it?
No, he is a human being. He's a German He's a German human being.
For 90 minutes, you'll be cut off. All right, we're going to...
I'd say a narrow win, possibly for Germany. I think there's going to be a massive struggle in this game. I think it's going to take them a long time to break Greece down, and a little.
But
part
ultimately,
of me,
you think they will?
I do, yeah. But I hope Greece win.
Okay, all right. You never give up, do you? Time to head over. This is the 9th time under Trapattoni that we've kept a clean sheet away from home. And I just wonder, have we seen a new beginning tonight? Attacking full-backs, a creative midfielder? I know, seriously, you're laughing.
I'm laughing because wait until Tuesday, Bill. They'll be 11 behind the ball. Wes Hoolan sitting on the bench and back to the future.
I think Ronaldo was buzzing the other day, really up for it when they were behind in adversity, and that's good to see. If he's up for it, they've gone into the tournament. They've got enough rough dogs in midfield and at the back, you know, to do that job, and he can do the magic. So. Go for it, Ronnie.
Right. I thought it was a poor Manchester United performance. Didn't have authority. The passing was poor. Berbatov was a disgrace. And they took him off. And I tell you what, they wouldn't have scored the winner if he'd have been on the pitch. He was a straight swap for Hernandez. Berbatov's contribution tonight was awful. And I think that's a club. Evra, very, very poor all night. And feigning injury at the end again, cheating again. That club ain't going nowhere, Bill. Except into the knockout stages of the Champions League.
I'm glad you said that.
Except to win.
Because
maybe win.
Make a point. Lyndon Johnson, who was vice president.
I know what you're going to say.
He was vice president of the United States when John F. Kennedy was president. And he said, vice presidency, he'd been the leader of the Senate and a very powerful man in Washington, the most powerful. He said the vice presidency, he was quoting another vice president, isn't worth a warm bucket of spit. And if the assistant manager in many cases, in many clubs, is usually a doormat.
You said to me that you had that experience with John at Shamrock Rovers.
I did, actually. The point is...
I couldn't see you as the doormat.
I've never treated anybody
it depends. I've never liked the City project. I've never liked Mancini. I've never believed that they are a team in the first instance. They didn't have a go tonight. About 15 minutes after half-time, he obviously shouted at them in the dressing room. They went out and got a bit closer. But generally speaking, from the off tonight, from the get-go, in a game they needed to win against an inexperienced team, they were never up for it, which is unforgivable. People like Yaya Touré's on 220 grand a week, and he never tried a leg tonight from start to finish. There's too many guys out there who don't care. I mean, Gaël Clichy was an outstanding left-back at Arsenal. He looks like he doesn't care now. Nasri was a good player at Arsenal. Very good player. Doesn't look as if he cares. Tevez on the bench. Big fallout with Tevez last year between... I don't like this coach, Mancini. Fell out with him. Had to bring him back in the end to try and clinch the championship.
But he is the coach of the English League champions.
Well, that's the point. I'm getting to this point. Yeah. I said it before the match. There's cannon fodder in the English League that you can beat. Teams like Manchester City can beat because they've got Aguero, they've got Tevez, they've got Dzeko, they've got people, they've got David Silva. So you need 2 or 3 of your big players to really do it, and you're going to knock over the Fulhams, the West Broms, the last 2 teams they've beaten, and you get your easy 3 points. You know, they had a day last year. They beat Manchester United 6-1 at Old Trafford. Everything went right for them. Nothing went right for United. But week in, week out, they won't do it. He's bought badly. He's bought rubbish, basically. And there's a fight between Mancini and the director of football, Brian Marwood. We don't know who's buying the players. This is an expensive folly of a project, and it's actually bad for the sport, because you shouldn't be able to, as you say, they're the champions of England, and they did nothing right to get there.
But John, is that not happening?
So the ball doesn't matter if the talent is there, is what you're saying.
If everybody's a caca, it wouldn't matter if he was playing with a turnip, Bill.
He's got the hump, Bill.
I think he has, yeah.
He's got the hump. I have to tell the viewers why he's got the hump. He's got the hump because he's accusing me and Liam of picking his brains during the match and then regurgitating
to which I would say, what else is new? He is the senior analyst.
That's right.
All right, no, that's not true.
Okay.
It's not true, Bill.
Ronaldo's performance tonight was a disgrace to football. Liam doesn't want me to say this because he's got myself into trouble. It was a disgrace.
In what sense was it?
It was a disgrace of petulance, temperament, throwing himself on the ground at least half a dozen times looking for fouls that he didn't get, claiming 2 penalties which he didn't get, but waving his arms at other players on his own team. It was a disgrace to professional football.
We've seen it before, though.
Now, hold on. You asked before, was this about 2 great young players, Messi and Ronaldo. Well, if it was, Messi proved himself after only 45 minutes football in the last 6 weeks to be at least a real pro and a real player. This fella Ronaldo is a cod. I don't care if he scores.
You can't say
scores,
that, given all the scores
this was a big match. If he scores 1,000 goals in the Premier League season, to go out and behave himself in a big match, in a semi-final, the way he behaved himself tonight, right up to the final seconds of the match, he was diving, pretending he was pushed, throwing his hands up in the air, with cutaway shots of him there. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace to the game.
That's putting it too strongly altogether.
Hold on a minute. That's what I believe. Am I here to express my beliefs?
Yes, you are. But it's a very strong viewpoint, isn't it?
See it differently.
Well, why did he let him go?
I always say he's got Danielson, he's got Song, he's got Nasri, he's got Fabregas. He saw them as better players.
Who saw these better players?
No, he saw them as better players than Flamini.
Different types of players. Was in the team all the
Yeah, well, Danielson's a sit-in player.
No, he's not.
Flamini's a sit-in player.
No.
Song's a sit-in player.
Flamini was outstanding.
He saw he had young, good players.
You don't know what you're talking about.
He could afford to let them
You don't know what you're talking about.
Well, how many times? Where did you manage?
I didn't manage anyway. I managed to stay alive for 6
lads, we're going to leave it there for the time being. We're going to take a commercial break.
Here's the John Cleese look. He'll be very, very disappointed.
You know, well, I think that's very understandable, of course. I'd be very disappointed if I was in this position.
No, but the thing is, he will, when he, like
Would you have shown that if they had won tonight?
Well, that's a good
hold
point.
on a minute.
No, I think that's terrible. That's diabolical. I think it's diabolical. I think the man has to be applauded. His team were magnificent tonight. Made mistakes, but if we lose this guy to English football, if this guy's lost to English football, it's a big blow.
But I mean,
hold on a minute now. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I agree.
That's a setup.
I agree.
To Wenger losing the game tonight, that is.
Yeah, it's called analysis, Lee.
No, that's not analysis.
It is analysis.
That was already in the can waiting to go out.
Yeah, good. Because we are...
No, that was based on the body language that has been spoken
based
about.
on the man losing a game tonight.
No, based on the fact that he seems to be more agitated, and there's an argument.
No, the man is to be applauded. And Rafa Benitez is to be applauded, and the game's to be applauded.
Hold on a minute now. You've jumped over the fence, baby. We're entitled to do our analysis whatever way we want, and that, which I think has been in.
But you expressed a view in one of your columns that perhaps this is a showbiz thing.
Well, I think look, we're in showbiz, baby. You know,
Eamon,
I felt embarrassed for soccer, embarrassed for the country, embarrassed for all the good players, for our great tradition in soccer. This has nothing to do with the players who played today. That's a good side. I feel embarrassed and ashamed. That performance.
Would you go as strongly as that about it?
John never goes as strongly as me on anything, but I'm thinking of men like him, Tommy Eglinton, all the great players we produced, Peter Farrells, the great football, the Liam Brady's, the Ronnie Whelans, the David O'Leary's. This is a great football and country produced players and go out and play that rubbish.
And there's nothing wrong with Steve Staunton as a man. The responsibility for the mess that the Irish international soccer team is in now lies with the FAI. They are the people who are viciously spinning, blackguarding journalists, threatening them, and...
Have you evidence for that?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have evidence.
Have you personally been?
All the evidence is from the journalists who are close to the camp on a day-by-day basis that it's an uncomfortable, intimidating atmosphere. And there is a vicious PR campaign going on to say that Steve Staunton is getting... And this idea, Bill, of a 4-year plan. After 2 years, we can now make the assessment Liam suggests we should make. And the assessment is that it isn't only team selection. The organisation of that team tonight was wrong. At set pieces, we scraped away with a goal at the end. Everything about it was wrong. They were too far. They weren't up the back as a unit. There was too much of a gap between the back four and midfield. If you wanted to bore people and send them to sleep, you could give a tactical analysis which would be just as damning. But we can't do that. We don't want to necessarily do it. We haven't got the facility to do that. But what we can say for sure is that you can't charge €70 a ticket and bring people from all around the country to this magnificent stadium to watch a guy learn a job. We're all on that train that was going to Corkville. But a lot of people are jumping off. And some people have paid €70 for their ticket, plus their children's tickets, and they're travelling from Monaghan, they're travelling from Galway, they're travelling from Cork, and they're committed to that team. They were wonderful tonight, the fans. And they were disgusted at the end, and they're right to be.
And they were entitled to be
because the wool is being pulled over their eyes by these people who are spinning.
Okay. John, you have managed the Irish team. Your judgment on it.
He stuck with Whelan from day one.
Yeah.
Whelan scored a great goal in a match at Croke Park.
think against Italy, he's a terrible player. He can't run, he can't pass, he can't tackle, he doesn't see anything. He was at fault.
Well, that's very harsh, isn't it?
But Bill, excuse me, he drives 2 Ferraris. You know, I'm entitled to, you know, you get paid a lot of money these days. I'm entitled to say, well, I've never thought he was a very good player. I think he's a very lucky lad to have 50 caps for Ireland.
You're all good singers. And Eamon, you said you would sing me a verse.
No problem.
What are you going to sing?
I'm going to sing Stardust. I'm going to sing 2 verses of Stardust for you, Miriam.
And do you want to sing here or do you want to sing over there?
I want to sing with Phil Coulter because his ambition is to play for me.
Okay, ready? Okay, let's introduce Eamon Dunphy. He's going to sing a very special song. Yeah, okay. Eamon, I'll introduce you again, okay? I'll give you.
Sometimes I wonder how I spend the lonely nights, dreaming of a song, the melody haunts my memory, and I am once again with you when our love was new, and each kiss an inspiration. But that was long ago, and now my consolation is in the stardust of a song beside the garden wall when stars are bright. You are in my arms. The nightingale tells his fairy tale of paradise where roses bloom. Though I dream in vain, in my heart it will remain, my stardust melody, the memory of love's refrain.